Hey guys, Sam from Baller Barbecue here, and today we're making some pork spare ribs on a Charmate Lawson smoker. So let's get into it. So I've got my rack of ribs here. These are just some pork spare ribs. Fairly small rack, but it's already been squared up pretty nicely. So to this, really, like, there's not any big bits of fat or anything like that on it. So all I'm gonna do is just remove this membrane in here. So just grab it. I need to use a knife just to pry it up a bit. But once you can get a corner up, then you can grab a paper towel, just pinch it, and ideally that would just rip off in one big go. There we go. So removing the membrane just makes the ribs a lot more tender, because this membrane kind of dries out and it's kind of a little bit chewy. It's not very nice. You can leave it on, but I just prefer to remove it and just get any little scraps that still stuck on there. All this fat here, I mean, there's not much there, and that's just going to render down and just add to the flavour. So all I'll do is I'm going to put a little bit of just a bit of mustard, and just going to be a really thin coat on there, and all that's going to do is just help hold on our rub. It's going to add a little bit of flavour, of course, but that's not really what it's for. As a binder, you can use your mustard or, you know, like anything you want, really. Bit of apple juice or something, honey, barbecue sauce, whatever, even just some oil. So we'll just go like that. And then for my rub, I've found this stuff down at the supermarket. It's a Flynny's Royal Rub. Flynny's just a radio host on More FM. He's put out a little rub, so get into it. So obviously you won't be able to find this overseas, but you can just use whatever rub you'd like. So yeah, this rub smells really nice. It's looks like there's a lot of sugar in there and a bit of salt, but anyway, we'll just sprinkle it on. Pretty generous coating. So all that sugar in that rub's just going to melt down and form like a really nice crust on there, really nice bark. So just give it a quick pat, just to push it into that that mustard. Flip it over, and I like doing the concave side first, because then when you flip it over, you're not going to rub all that bark off. So just a little tip there. But yeah, now we'll just chuck it on the top here. So we'll just do the same, pat it in. Yeah, this rub smells really nice. So good job, Flynny. Guessing he's come up with that little recipe. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do to these, is just a little bit of mustard, the rub, put it on there, and we'll take it out to the grill. So let's go. Okay, so I'm using the Charmate Lawson for these ribs today, and what I've got there is the Kingsford applewood infused charcoal briquettes, and I've just lit those and put them in a little pile in the middle, and then around the outside I'm going to use just their original formula. So the idea is that these ones will give the smoke in the beginning, and then as they burn, they'll burn out, stop producing the smoke, and then these ones will just carry on and give that heat. And by that time we'll be at the stage in the ribs where they're going to be wrapped in foil and not absorbing any smoke anyway. So yeah, we'll give it a go. So I'll just pour these ones around the outside. Okay, So that pan's pretty much full. That will be enough coal to last for 6 hours for this cook. So we're basically just going to do the 3-2-1 method of doing these ribs. So I'm going to smoke them for 3 hours at 110 degrees, and then I'm going to wrap them for 2, and then I'll baste them and leave them unwrapped for the last hour. But we'll put the lid on and we'll get it up to temperature. Right now the Charmate's up to temperature, so we'll open it up and we're going to put on our ribs. I'm just going to put them right in the middle there, and I'm just going to leave them covered on the Charmate for 3 hours at 110 degrees. So you can see on those ribs already that the just from sitting on the bench while the grill was heating up, that sugar and salt mix in that rub has really pulled a lot of the moisture out, and it's kind of already formed like almost like a glaze looking thing. It's liquidy and very, very sweet. So that heat's just gonna make that basically set and turn into a really nice bark. So we'll let it do its thing. Okay, so these ribs have now been on here for 3 hours uncooked, and they're looking real good. 110 degrees, nice and brown under there. A little bit of a bark forming on there. Really, really good. So we're gonna get these off the grill, wrap them up in paper, and then we'll put them back on. Okay, so here's the ribs off the grill. Got them on some paper, and what I'll do is just wrap these up just in a single layer. So make sure plenty of paper. Now wrap them up nice and tight. Just like that. And we put that back on the grill. Okay, so we've got the ribs wrapped in paper back on the grill, and we're going to leave them here wrapped, don't touch them, for another 2 hours at 110 degrees. Okay, so our ribs now have been on for another 2 hours, total 5 hours. Been wrapped in paper. They are looking super good. Smells amazing. So what I'm going to do is just flip it over without them falling apart, because they are super tender. And I'm going to use some of this Krakin Chillies nicely spiced barbecue sauce. It's really, really good. It's quite a sweet sauce. A little bit of spice to it. I haven't tried it on ribs yet, but I reckon it's going to be real good. So I'm just going to pour that on, just on one side of the ribs. Just pour it over the top there, quite a bit, and I'll just brush it on. And then all I'm going to do is just leave it for, I don't know, like usually I would do it for an hour, leave it for an hour uncovered, but I'm just going to do these for, I don't know, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, just enough for that sauce to set. It'll be at 110 degrees. Leave it like that and cover it up. And then we'll come back in about half an hour. Okay, so these ribs have now been on for another about 40 minutes, and that sauce on there has set really nicely. So we'll get them off the grill and go and cut into them and eat. Okay, so here are these ribs looking amazing. So we'll cut into them without getting it all over my fingers, because they're very sticky. Super tender. Have a look at these ones in the middle. See what sort of smoke ring we got on there. but they're looking awesome. Nice smoke ring on there. They're just so good. So I am going to go and eat. All right, guys, so as you saw, those ribs turned out amazing. Had a really nice bark on them. That sauce had set nicely. That Flynny's rub, if you're in New Zealand, go and grab some. It's at the supermarkets. That was really, really nice. Yeah, and if you want that sauce, the Krakin Chillies sauce, head over to chillies.co.nz and you can grab a bottle there. They only ship in New Zealand, but yeah, if you live in New Zealand, obviously very lucky. All right, so if you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. That way you won't miss out on any future videos, and we'll see you again next time.